Popeye for the NES was one of the first 3 games released on the Famicom when the Famicom launched in Japan in July of 1983. It's an arcade port of Popeye, which was released in the arcades in 1982, a year after Donkey Kong. When Donkey Kong was being developed, they originally intended the characters from this game to be the characters in it, but after it fell through, they decided to go with a King Kong theme instead. This game was ported to quite a few early consoles back in the day, seeing releases on the Atari 2600s, the ColecoVision, the Odyssey, and the Commodore 64. If you've never seen the Popeye cartoons, the show is based around a mariner named Popeye and his girlfriend Olive Oyl. Generally, most episodes revolve around Olive Oyl getting kidnapped by a huge guy named Bluto, Popeye eating some spinach from a can and then proceeding to beat up Bluto. Popeye is also joined in some episodes by his hamburger-addicted friend Wimpy. Popeye is very much an early 80s arcade game in terms of its gameplay. It only has 3 levels that repeat after beating the 3rd level. The entire point of the game is to get the best score possible. One of my largest grievances with early arcade ports is they didn't actually save your scores once you turn the game off like an actual cabinet would do, making high score runs kind of feel meaningless. The goal of Popeye on each level is to collect a certain number of objects that Olive Oyl drops from the top while avoiding Bluto and other obstacles. The number of objects and what they are vary by level. This game features 2 modes, Mode A and Mode B. If you beat Mode A, it will restart in Mode B. The only difference between the two is Mode B adds a sea hag in the upper right corner that will throw skulls at you. You can't actually jump in this game, the only thing you can do other than moving is punch. However, unless you've eaten some spinach, the punch will do nothing to Bluto. Normally though, it can defend you against bottles, skulls, and vultures. The spinach is this little green plant growing out of a flower pot that will move around on the sides of the screens, and if you punch it, it'll make you invincible for a short period of time, and able to punch Bluto off the screen. He's only off screen for a moment when you punch him, however, but it does give you some extra bonus points. The first level also gives you the opportunity to get extra points by punching a punching bag into a can that will drop onto Bluto's head. It's actually quite hard to do, but it's really satisfying when you can actually pull it off. Bluto is somewhat hard to avoid because he can jump up and down levels without warning, so it's usually best to keep your distance, unless you're about to hit him after eating spinach. The level design is really quite good for the time period, and it's really enjoyable. This isn't too surprising because Shigeru Miyamoto is one of the game designers for this game, and I think personally I like this game a little bit more than Donkey Kong. As with many retro games, this game has seen some drastically varying prices. According to PriceCharting.com, Popeye for the NES is currently worth about $8.20. However, the price for this game seems to be in flux right now because it's really shot up and down drastically in the last 2 years, with prices as low as $3, and with the current price at almost triple that. So, if you're in the market for this game, be smart about what you're willing to pay for it. Popeye for the NES is a great game because it can show how drastic the 8-bit graphics evolved during the NES's life cycle. The gameplay is also quite enjoyable, however there are only 3 levels, so the game can be beaten several times in under 20 minutes, so it is really quite short. If getting high scores in old school arcade games is your thing, then this is a great title to pick up, especially if you want to practice for getting a high score on a real arcade cabinet.